I just realized my screen has been muted. So again, I I've just got a phone call. Well, thank you. Let's do all that again. Welcome to all our attendees from around the world who are attending live, or those of you who will be joining us later. I'm Doug Kennedy with Kennedy Training Network, and welcome to this month's KTN webcast series, number 11 of the year. I want to give a quick shout out to Track, a hospitality a TravelNet solution. They have a great CRM for reservation sales, which is available for hotels and resorts around the world, as well as they have a property management system for condo hotels and vacation rental companies. We're excited to have them as a sponsor since 2015 of our webcast. I want to also give a shout out to Travel Outlook, the premier hotel call center, which proudly has been a KTN client since 2012, the only call center certified by Kennedy Training Network, which means that we mystery shop, we call score their agents every month, and they have to maintain high standards. We also onboard and train them. So we're excited to have them, and we're super excited to have all of you. As always, as we're waiting for our last few to join us, those of you who will be joining us live, we'd love to do shout outs. It's also a great way for me to remember all of you who are watching, because it's, you know, I'm usually a presenter who likes to be out there mixing it up with the audience and crowds in my talks. But here in our headquarters, it's just me and the webcam in this room. So it's always helpful for me to give shout outs as well. So please join us in welcoming all of the people from around the world. We have a lot of hotel management companies today. Elena and all of your properties from Lucky's Management, mostly in South Florida. Thank you for joining us once again. I see you all turning out for our sales presentations. I hope you do spread the word to your operations folks for our hospitality topics as well. We have Jaffer Group, I believe the first time. Ingrid up in Edmonton, thank you. I checked out your properties. You have quite a few nice properties as well. Bird Dog Hospitality, Erin, welcome back, Bird Dog. We have a lot of luxury hotels today. Let me give a shout out to the Old House. First time I've seen you on our list, I believe anyway. Deborati, Vancouver Island, one of the most beautiful places I've ever visited. I've been out to as far as Tofino and Ucluelet. The Pearl in St. Joe, Florida, I had a chance to present sales training actually for your cluster sales team from St. Joe company that I believe still manages the Pearl. Very lovely boutique hotel. I believe Rosemary Beach, if I'm not mistaken. International traveler Cynthia from Revenue Analytics. I'm honored that you attend. You have so many years of experience as well as me. More participants from St. Giles. William, I'm not sure which property you're at. You have some of the most beautiful hotels around the world and great destinations. Mexico, a lot of turnout today. Magdalena, Nizuk, I love seeing you. Almost every webcast. Encanto Acapulco, Flores, thank you for joining us. Playa Los Arcos, Ramon. We have Bahamas checking in, the Hamilton Princess, and managed by Fairmont, I believe. And we have Sarah from the Hamilton Princess. Ladera Resort, Shay, I appreciate you joining us once again. And then the Doubletree West Edmonton, we have Esther. So a huge diversity of property types from ultra luxury to mid-market, even economy hotels showing out, independents, branded, and all kinds of different cultures. Well, the one thing we all have in common in today's world, we have a big challenge because a lot of the sales that we do in selling groups, events, corporate, it's done remotely today. In fact, too often it's done in the era of what I call silent selling, which is just responding in email or in-app platforms like our Cvent, the Knot, Wedding Wire, all these different platforms, your CVB platforms. So I'm going to talk about how we can go a little bit old school, but use tech to do so and actually talk to people face to face. So in this session, we're going to cover sales presentation skills for remote buyers. This is a program we also have delivered remotely, live remote webcam training. Kathy Cook from our team actually does sales coaching in this area. So if you're really interested in upping your game or increasing your team's proficiency in these areas, well, I thought I had my phone off. increasing your team's proficiency in these areas, we actually will do a private one-on-one sales coaching, which is presented by Kathy Cook. So let's get started then. And the first thing I always like to do after I turn my phone off again here, which I thought I at least had the ringer down. The first thing I want to do is talk about the whys behind the what. So why is this topic so important? Why is it important to be able to present remotely? First of all, increasingly the prospects we deal with that are planning weddings, groups, events, even corporate buyers, they're foregoing the chance for traditional site tours. Used to be years ago, we would have people coming by in person. They would, maybe visit, tour 2-3 different hotels before they make their decision. But today, people are foregoing that. Well, why is that? I only have theories on this. I would like to be able to do a survey of all the people in the world who planned an event and preferred not to go there, but we have to go through anecdotal evidence. Shorter lead time, this is certainly a fact. We know in today's world, people are having pop-up groups, very short lead times, even more so since COVID, but even before COVID, lead times on bookings for groups, events have been decreasing. The other thing that I believe is a big impact here is that with all the information available online, the planners, the buyers might simply feel it's not necessary to go there. So maybe even if they're in your town, city, location, area, they just don't even feel the need to come by. So we'd love to get them by, wouldn't we? To see your lovely property, to meet your wonderful staff, so that you can take them on the tour, maybe show them some rooms, take them to lunch, have a cocktail perhaps after hours if they're staying over. But what are salespeople doing instead? All too often, we're simply responding to that request for proposal. We as an industry, now maybe not those of you who turn out, especially my regulars, I know you're at the top of your game. That's why you're here every month to learn more. But as an industry, when I do sales process assessments where I go in before the training as an option, and I look at what people are doing when that lead comes in, as an industry, about 80% of the time, and that's not anecdotal, that's based on what I see, about 8 out of 10 salespeople simply respond. They respond in CVent, they respond back to an email inquiry, they reply with that proposal, which was pretty much what was requested. And if you read what's being sent back, whether it's an in-app message, an email, or a proposal, they're focusing on rates, dates, and space. And I kind of feel maybe we're assuming the buyer did their research, that they read all those reviews, that they looked at all of our lovely pictures in the photo gallery. Maybe they did, but maybe they didn't. And if all we do is respond with prices, we might as well be selling rate. And if you are selling the rate, I hope you have the cheapest rate in your market segment. But cheap rate only goes so far. And I'm pretty sure most of you, it's budget time. How many of you budgeted for a decrease or the same revenues next year? Well, I can't see any hands up because this is a webcam, but I'm pretty sure nobody has their hands up. So we want to outsell the competition. Now at the Maryland Tourism Coalition Summit, I got to see an excellent economic presentation, and I have his card right here. Anupar Basu did a fantastic job. First of all, he had a great interpretation of the data, of the economic data, but also he made it fun with some great Denzel Washington movie analogies as he went along. Now, the data was for United States, but I think it is mirrored somewhat around the world. The total revenue growth has been very flat. Occupancy is flat. I saw the CoStar reports this morning. RevPAR is slightly down. Some of people have been able to increase rate a little bit, but occupancy is falling. Does that sound similar around the world? In fact, I think Anupar even shared Canada data, which may be even worse, slightly worse economically. So it's been a tough year around the world. So what do we want to do to outsell the competition? We have to outperform the competition. If you want to get as much business as everyone else gets, do the same things everyone else does. You will get market share. Do you think the owners, the asset managers for your hotel resort in whatever it is you represent today, are they happy with market share? We want to get more market share. How do you get market share in a flat market? We have to take it from someone else. All the people who didn't sign up for Doug Kennedy's webcam training today. So I believe at the end of the day, to outsell the competition, okay, we can drop the price so far to the point where we just create maybe slightly higher occupancy, but less total revenue at the end because we put more wear and tear on our FF&E, because we put more wear and tear on our staff, and we actually maybe even have to have more staff or they get burned out and leave us. The best way is to go and grab business at the rates we're targeting. How do we do that? Make authentic, personalized connections and keep the people parts at the center of hotel sales. If you've been with me for my other webcasts, there are certain themes that resonate throughout, especially in the training track of hotel group event sales. The people parts. At the end of the day, ladies, gentlemen, hotel sales is still a people business. People are your hotel's superpower. Okay, well, we can't forge relationships by simple digital message exchanges through email, through in-app messaging, through sending an e-proposal, even if it's a pretty little proposal path one, or a nice PDF with pretty images. We've got to keep people at the start. Now, what do the buyers say about all of this? I talk to a lot of people on airplanes and in hotel lobbies and in my networking meetings that I go to, people planning events. It is still the people that make the difference. In fact, at the Maryland Tourism Summit, the person who planned that event, I had a conversation with, they picked the hotel at University of Maryland, and they picked it because of the responsiveness of the salesperson, how they partnered with them, and how everybody all the way through did a great job to gain their confidence in the sales process. And then of course they delivered as well. So it is still a people business for the buyers. Now, if you've been with me before, you know I often reference my good friend Deanne Vigil, who is the head of Helms Briscoe North America. She's the managing director. Now, a lot of people, if you deal with Helms Briscoe folks, you know the planners there, a lot of them came from hotel sales. Deanne actually came from hotel operations. She was the COO of a hotel company based in US West Coast. So Deanne has risen to the top of her profession. She's a wonderful human. I love talking with her, and we've met several times, even in recent years. These are a few quotes from an article that I co-authored with her, one of my monthly training articles. I asked her to co-author in the form of an interview that I sent her. You're typically, when your RFPs typically generate a large number of responses, what factors help you select the finalists? Well, here's what Deanne had to say to that. Typically, it's how accurate, complete, and detailed those proposals are to our client's specific needs. The final selection is based on the relationship, trust, and understanding of the program's needs. If all we do is read the RFP and respond, or read the incoming email and respond, we're not showing a deep understanding. We're not building that relationship. Again, we're selling dates, race, and space. And when the price and product are the same, now let's think about that for a moment. How many of you have a revenue manager that I believe doing a great job, but they're pulling the same data points as the revenue managers for the hotels in your comp set? In fact, many of the hotels in your comp set might even have the same revenue management automation software recommending those price points. So in the end, the price is going to be pretty similar in your comp set. The reason they call it a comp set is because it's a comparable set of competitors. They have relatively the same product, okay? So what factors impact the decision? What does Deanne say? Once again, relationships and trust. The relationship that I have with that salesperson makes all the difference in the world. I can trust if something goes sideways, I can reach out to them as my trusted partner and be confident that they will help. How do we show confidence? By responding first with a generic PDF or e-proposal? I don't think so. We respond by getting them to attend a virtual online meeting and by selling to remote buyers if they won't meet with us through the other methods that I'm going to share with you today. Keep the people parts in hotel sales. Now, in order to prepare for a personalized proposal so we can sell remotely effectively, the first step is to audit your hotel website inquiry form. Now, I have an article on this that provides specific details. It's on our Kennedy Training Network website in our resources tab, or just Google search Doug Kennedy for website inquiry form tips. Something like that in my article will come up and you will get more details. But take a look at that form. Have a few of your friends that are not hoteliers, or at least not working at your hotel, take a look at that form. And there's a few things you can do to get more information. First of all, to get more inquiries. One little tip there, don't have too many mandatory fields. I looked at a client's form not long ago when I was doing a sales training, and every field on that form was mandatory. So when you try to hit submit and you haven't completed them all, it's going to get an error message. That's a lot of mandatory forms. But one simple thing I'm going to just cover today in the interest of time is change. Most of us have the comments or remarks box. Change the label on that and have it say, tell us about the meeting or event that you're envisioning, or let us know what we can do to meet your needs or something. We want them to encourage them to share their comments. The more information we have from that initial inquiry, the more we're able to respond in a personalized way. Ideally, we'll get them to talk to us, but sometimes we don't, they won't talk to us and we're stuck with what we have. Now, another thing that I recommend when you audit your form, take away this question. A lot of people have this. Do not ask on that form, select your preferred contact method with a pull-down menu, because then, you know, a lot of planners are going to probably pick, just email me. I really doubt if we did a survey of buyers out there, how many of you would love a phone call from your salesperson? Okay, probably the rates would be low. And in fact, most of them are not going to be happy when you do call. But here's a pro tip. Despite what I just said, always, always, always respond first by calling, because it shows your strong interest. And guess what? If they don't want to talk, they're going to let it go to voicemail. But that's okay. It's still going to differentiate you from your competition. It's still going to show that you want their business. And if you're successful, you can gain a few more clues as to what it will take to win the deal. Okay. And if not, if you don't get them, you still leave a voicemail that leaves a great first impression. Now, make sure you sound really good when you call. Be humble and grateful. Now, don't ever do this. Ring, ring. Here's how the buyer is going to sound. Doug Kennedy. Hi. Is this Doug Kennedy? Yeah, I just said so. Hi. How are you today? I'm hanging up on you right then. I'm thinking you're the latest round of spammers. Right now, I'm getting the call from a very professional sounding sweet person that is calling to let me know of my pre-approval, or that I just happened to pop up on their list for a loan or some type of hidden government refund plan. No, hang up. So you might even want to screenshot this. I assume it's the person, right? Because most people answer their own phones these days. They might just say hello. And if they don't, just say, hi, Mr. Kennedy, and then give your name. This is Martin from Brand X Hotel. I'm just calling to get a few more details so I can send a more comprehensive response. We'd be grateful for a chance to host your meeting or event. So, you know, and then you can add, is this a good time to talk? But let them know you're calling to get more details. And now that grumpy person, me, Doug Kennedy. Hi, Mr. Kennedy. This is Martin from Brand X Hotel. I just wanted to call and get a few. We received your RFP, and I'm just calling to get a few more details that will help me present a more personalized and contextualized response. Okay. Now, if you get them live and you start asking some good, smart questions, which we're going to cover, they're going to appreciate that guy, Martin, who called. They're going to appreciate that you actually cared enough to find out more about what they're looking for. That's how we gain confidence. So it starts with the phone call, all right? Now, the truth is most people are not going to pick up, and the further truth is most people are not going to respond to your voicemail, but do it anyway. That's how we get through the digital wall to remote buyers. Next, a few hours later, no more than the next day, send the email or respond in platform and include a link to an online scheduling platform. Why? Because, as I said, you cannot forge strong relationships simply by emailing or any kind of written correspondence back and forth. Now, one of the reasons people don't want to try to set a call with a salesperson today is because it is so much back and forth that it frustrates both parties. Okay, Martin, I'll meet with you. Next week I'm available on Tuesday. Oh, sorry, Tuesday won't work. I have an appointment. What about Wednesday? Oh, I can do anytime before noon. Oh, the only time I'm available is from 1 to 5. We go back and forth. And then everybody gets frustrated. It's just too hard to set a time that way. And yet, on the other hand, if we use a tool that I've been using about 4 years now, I use Calendly. If you're a Microsoft enterprise account, you can use Microsoft Bookings, Book with Me. These are fantastic tools. I cannot tell you how much it has opened up. I'm living the same world as most of you in sales. We get an inquiry. They say, hi, send us a price for a 1-day or a 2-day training class. And they emailed every other training company out there. I hope my competitors are just emailing the price for a 1 or 2-day training class. But the first thing I do is I respond with an email and my Calendly. Actually, I will call them as well if I have a phone number for them. And again, I get a voicemail, and usually they don't pick up. But the Calendly, almost always, if I send a personalized email with the Calendly link, most people will meet with me. I just did this one earlier this week for that exact scenario, a hotel that literally told me they were reaching out for 2 other companies. And by the way, my proposal was sent this morning, and they had replied they still haven't got the other proposals for the people that they also reached out to earlier in the week. So to outsell the competition, use a scheduling tool. Now, this is how it looks for the buyer. For my setup, they can book 15, 30, 60 meetings, or even up to 90, because sometimes they're already a client and I have to have a planning session. And so next, select a date and time, and that's where they will click on a time and they will see the actual calendar. They click on the blue dots of the days that I have open office time, and from there they can click down and they can book a time of day for that day of week. So you can see here, on Tuesday I'll be flying out for Thanksgiving, but I've got some time early that morning in availability here in my office. Now it looks very similar with the Book With Me page from Microsoft. All right, now a few pro tips. First of all, you can integrate your Zoom, Teams, GoToWebinar, whatever you're using for your meeting platform, you can integrate it with your Calendly or Book With Me, so that when they book you, they'll immediately get a link to meet you online. Now, the pro tip, when you'll get a confirmation, they'll get a confirmation as soon as they book you on these platforms. But then a pro tip from me, confirm it separately and just send a note back. Hi, Kennedy, I see your meeting came through. I will be waiting on webcam at that time. Now, if you have any connection challenges, or should you prefer to meet by phone, let me know the best way to reach you. Okay, so always give them the phone number, because you don't want to lose a chance to talk with them, at least by phone, because they're having a connection issue with their webcam or their laptop or getting on the app on the phone. But always leave the phone number and give them the option. I will tell you, I cannot even remember the last time somebody opted out of the online meeting. What they will do sometimes, they will come on your online meeting and they'll say, oh, sorry, my webcam's not working. Yeah, you just didn't want to fix your hair this morning. Yeah, see, it takes me a long time, so I can relate to that. But the thing is, if you're on webcam and they're not, that's still good because they get to see your lovely smile and your warm hospitality vibe comes through better on a webcam, doesn't it? Than just on a phone call. So even if they won't join you, but I think most of the time they will join you in today's world. Now, what online meeting platform should we use? The one where your buyers are most likely already using it. Okay, now, right now I have been, well, we were a GoToMeeting company. I'd always used GoToMeeting or WebEx. During COVID, Zoom burst onto the scene. So I switched over to Zoom because it seemed that most people were using Zoom. They even called it Zooming instead of, it kind of became a generic name for an online meeting. People had Zoom happy hours, Zoom family dinners. Now it seems Microsoft Teams has become for corporate America. I'm not sure about the rest of the world. The rest of you might be more in the Google world and the internationally where people use Google Meets. I have noticed that for my international clients. But meet your buyers where they're most likely to already be, because that's where they're most likely going to take you up on the online meeting. Okay, but if you don't have an account, you can get a free one on Zoom. I'm not sure about Google Meets. I'm pretty sure there's also offers a free option. And if you have the Microsoft Enterprise package, you already have Teams. So once we get them, they booked us through Calendly, they get their confirmation, we get ours, we tell them we'll be waiting on webcam. Hopefully they'll join us there. You want to prepare in advance. Now, I hope you're using a pitch deck. You're not just opening your website and walking them through the website they probably already visited, which is where they got the contact us or website RFP form. So make a presentation deck, but customize it for each client meeting. A couple of suggestions here: copy and paste images into a PowerPoint deck. Maybe you use, there's other presentation software now, the free Google Slides. I do prefer PowerPoint. I've been using it the longest. And copy and paste into your presentation deck. But remember, at the end, we want to always offer to send our sales presentation deck. And if we're going to send our deck, compress those high resolution images. I had a client for sales training not long ago. She said she always sends the presentation decks as a follow-up to her meetings, but she rarely gets any feedback. We looked, the presentation decks, she used the high resolution images, which she got from her, shared drive, the images the professional photographer took of the hotel, in this case a resort. Those are very high resolution. They're made for print if necessary or other media. Compress them so that you're sending no more than a 5 megabyte file, okay? And then also those will work better in your presentation. If you're using an older laptop, your presentation might freeze up on you if you put too many high resolution images. Now, here's a slide if you want to take a screenshot of this. Here's a list, rough list of what your pitch deck should be. The welcome slide. Always go, if you're a corporation or an organization, a nonprofit, a church, a school, a trade association, then go and get their website logo. If not, put their name on a welcome slide. Professional images. Now, by the way, I would not stalk their personal social media. That's a little weird, but if they do have something on LinkedIn, you might welcome them and find information about them there. Professional images. So this is where you're going to use those stock photos professionally done from the, take them as you would walk them through in an actual site tour. Now, start at the outside. You're going to meet them at the front door, right? Bring them into your hotel or resort. Walk them through the public areas. So you're going to look at, if you're a moderate priced hotel, maybe the breakfast bar, the lobby area that most of you have. That's the chill out area for people to work remote, people to work but not be stuck in their rooms, kind of like your version of the Starbucks lobby. All those areas, if you have whatever, you know, then you would show, of course, the meeting space. Now, candid photos, I think, are fantastic. It's great to show these slick, staged photos, which are probably people-less. But if you can show some candid photos with people. Now, you don't want to show any faces unless you've had them sign a waiver, which you probably will not ask a real guest or meeting attendee or event attendee for a waiver. But you can have distant shots, backs of heads, or you can actually slightly blur the faces if you need. But candid shots, even if there's no people in them, you can do an actual setup, photos that you've taken, and let them know, oh, I took a special photo just for you. Floor plans of meeting and event space, but also of guest rooms, especially if you have suites and upgrades to sell. And then finish it out with your proposal or contract so that you'll remember at the end to show them what it takes to get them across the finish line. Now, a few more pro tips. Consider a standing desk for your online meetings. If you notice when you attend my webcasts, I'm always standing up. When I do my sales presentations, I also always stand up. In fact, somebody recently commented 2 weeks ago, they said, wow, I really like that style. I think I'm going to get one of those. You have a lot more energy when you stand up, Doug. So this is the one I use. Mine is actually from IKEA. I think these are from a company online called VariDesk. This is actually the entire desk raises up. It's also kind of good exercise from sitting too long, you know, so maybe 2 hours a day, I'll be standing presenting typically. Also, as an alternative to the entire desk, that I like that the whole surface raises up. So that way I've got my coffee here, my mouse pad, and I've got all my other devices here. But you can also just get the VariDesk that will sit on top of your desk, and just the monitor and the keyboard are raised. But this allows you to stand up when you present. This makes you more energetic. It allows you to give gestures, okay? And it prevents us from just being a talking head. Now, personally, I like to use the TV and stand in front of it. So my pitch deck, when I'm showing it, is gonna be behind me. But most of you either may not have the TV, or you might prefer to sit down. You can do the screen share. So I'm going to give you tips either way. More best habits. Ring lights now, that's a brand, is a ring light, but you can buy an Amazon ring light for less than $20. And yet when I'm being pitched by salespeople, or when I'm in the field training salespeople, not many people have them. So get a ring light, an external webcam. What's good about it? Well, you have one on your laptop. Well, you either have to raise your laptop up at or above eye level, but it's easier to get an external webcam. Once again, you know, when I bought my first one, I think it was around $90, but now for $20, you can get a very good webcam on Amazon, Walmart, or your nearest online shopping vendor. So I like the webcam also. The resolution is generally a little bit better. Also, they will have a little better audio quality than the microphones and the microphones in most laptops. Now, when you present, look at the camera, not the screen. In order to do that, position your webcam a little bit above the monitor that you're looking at. Some people have the webcam over here and their monitor here. So they're looking at the monitor while they're talking to their prospect, but the prospect is seeing the side of their face. Again, most of you are using, I think the most common is a laptop. The problem with the laptop is it's down here. And if you've ever taken a selfie, you know, do not take the selfie from here, you take it from here. not many of us have that good of a chin that we look good as a good angle to show our faces. So have eye or above eye level, and then look at the camera, not the monitor. Place your monitor so you can see the prospect. An uncluttered background is ideal. A lot of people use blurred or virtual backgrounds. If you do, please pick something other than the Golden Gate Bridge. That seems to be the most popular one that people use on Zoom and also on Teams. I think they have it there too. I think virtual backgrounds were very cool when COVID first hit, and a lot of people were new to this, and we thought it was nifty to do so. It's my personal opinion. I feel like when someone uses a virtual background, it adds a layer of inauthenticity. Like you wonder, where are you really? Because I know you're actually not in that clean, beautiful, pristine office that's showing in your picture. And I think you're probably not overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge. I like, if possible, an actual background. Now, if many of you, the reality is you do not have a nice background to show in a sales presentation if you're working in a hotel sales offices. So can you use the boardroom if you have one? Can you use somewhere else in the lobby if available on that day? If not, use your desk area, but clean it up a little bit, angle it so it's presenting part of your cube that's actually uncluttered. If necessary, do the blurred background or virtual. Now, when you start your presentation, another great habit, start by sharing your webcam first. I'm sorry, just your webcam first, and that way you will be full screen. Do not share your presentation deck until such time as you're well into your talk, and share your screen only after you've built rapport. Okay, so start out full screen, and that way you can make a connection. When you start sharing your presentation, you're going to become a little bubble in the corner. Politely ask them to be on webcam. All right. Now, when you send it in advance, that your email like, thank you for booking me on Calendly. I'll be on webcam. I hope you join me. Feel free to call. I'll call you if you want. Most people think, oh, okay, I'll meet them on webcam. If they are not on webcam, say, oh, I noticed your webcam is on. Did you want to join me on webcam? And sometimes if you give a little nudge, a little knock, they will come on webcam. Why do we want them on webcam? Well, first of all, now we have eye contact. We can see their reaction. We can read their facial expressions, their body language. But here's another reason. We know they're actually listening to us. How many of you have been in the middle of a sales presentation, and in the background, it's just you and that prospect? In the background, suddenly you hear, they are typing, they're checking email while they're talking to you. You can literally hear the keys clicking. This is a great way to get their full undivided attention when they have to look at you eye to eye. Now, keep it engaging. I love this quote. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and successful salespeople use them in that proportion. But we don't. We should, but we don't. What we do as salespeople, as a profession, maybe not the smart, great salespeople that join us for these webcasts, but the ones that don't show up, we do twice as much talking or more as listening, and we feature flood. I also sometimes do this. Kathy Cook, our executive director of training that does the remote sales coaching, a lot of times she also sits in on the sales presentations, and I do the large account sales for my company. Well, full disclosure, Kathy Cook is my wife. She joined me after 27 years at Marriott. She is a distinguished Toastmaster, DTM, the highest level. She's really good at feedback, but she's also blunt. I think she's even more blunt with me, the husband. Sometimes after the meeting, she says, you are such a blah, blah, blah'r. And I took that to heart. It hurt a little bit, but I realized I talk too much, all right? So I'm gonna give you a little tip here, and I have not actually done this because I've actually learned from the feedback. But if you, and do you record your presentations? You should, because if you don't have a Kathy Cook, and by the way, you can have her critique you, but if you don't have someone, then watch yourself on playback and you might see you too, or a blah, 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 or if that's the case, insert a slide periodically. Any questions so far? It's a good reminder to make sure. Now, speaking of questions, avoid only asking standardized questions that everyone else they talk to is asking. Instead, ask questions based on the situation or the story, based on what you learned in advance, because you did research them before this meeting, right? You visited their website for their company, association, church, organization, nonprofit, government agency, sports teams, and you went to their LinkedIn too, if they have one, right? And what you've learned from the comments section, because you changed your inquiry form, just say, tell us about the meeting or event you're envisioning, to encourage a lot to work with. So, generic questions. Walk me through your dream wedding. What are you looking to get out of this event? Don't be generic. Mix it up. What can you tell me about your guests? Does anyone have special needs? What's the most important to you or your group or your company about this meeting or event? Are you looking for more glitter and diamonds or a Caribbean chill out for your reception? Or country vibe if you're in the country? What are some meetings and events that you've attended or planned in the past? What did you love or not love about them? What's the coolest thing you've ever seen done at a meeting like this or an event like this, or as an attendee? How can I help you relieve the potential stress of planning this? What can we do to help make your life easier? And what are you most excited about for this big day, this big event, this big dinner? Okay. Now, standard questions that we all want to ask, we all probably need to ask, try to make it feel conversational by adding kind of filler language. Some of you might even have an inquiry form, okay? Or maybe you were raised in sales in an inquiry form and you routinely say, how'd you hear about us? But tailor that. I'm just curious, our SEO people will want to know, Mr. Kennedy, can I just ask how you heard about us? And what questions do you have about our location or our amenities before we go right into talking about our location, destination, amenities? What questions do you have for me? What other destinations, what other hotels are you looking at? Don't be afraid to ask. Sometimes they'll straight up tell you, and then you know. What are the main factors in your selection besides price? Because, and then when you're going to ask about their budget, pre-announce it by saying, now we do have options in all price points, different meeting rooms, different plans, different room categories. So may I just ask if you have a budget or range you're looking to stay within? Now let's round the corner in the presentation skills. When we get them to talk to us by using Calendly, by reaching out by phone, by using Calendly to get them to book, by having it integrated with an online meeting platform so we can see them face to face, and we got our pitch deck ready and now we're talking, we ask questions. Now let's loop it back listening. Again, we've covered this in other webcasts in this section, but I'm going to give a short overview and direct you back to previous webcasts. So loop it back listening. When you ask a question, before moving on to the next question or the next statement, pause, loop back what they shared, adding a short comment or a follow-up question. That is how we get to the heart of the story. That is how we unmask the whole story. So, is this wedding for you? Oh, actually, no, I'm planning to help my daughter plan her wedding. You could say, okay, very good, very good. What are the dates? How many attendees? Or you could say, oh, how nice of you. And then mom might say, well, actually, she's deployed right now, and her fiance has his hands full with the new baby. Oh, what a nice mom. Now let's say she's a corporate planner. I'm just trying to find a location for this year's top sales awards dinner. Oh, okay. I'm sure that's no small task. Pause, loop it back. Well, actually, our VP of sales usually plans this, but she's out on mat leave, so it's my first time. And now you have a stronger connection because you slowed down. You did it, blah, 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 blah. You paused, you ask a follow-up question. Now, here's some other concepts we do cover in some of our other KTN webcasts that I'm not going to cover today. But if you are interested in ongoing learning, which I know the top salespeople are the ones interested in going further, visit our YouTube channel. You can literally search up Kennedy Training Network YouTube channel. It will bring you to this on YouTube, or you can go to YouTube and put in Kennedy Training Network. They're available as podcasts to watch or podcasts to listen to. You can also watch Kate's monthly training tips, which cover a lot of these concepts. The Just For You sales style. This is how we take that feature and make it sound like a benefit. A feature is when we say we offer. I know you would never say it has. Don't call anything at your hotel it. It is ours, it is we. But let's make it about them. You can enjoy, you can take advantage of, your group will love, your attendees, your guests. So the word you. Visually and emotionally descriptive language. Again, we have addressed these in webcasts. Kate has video training tips, which are really fun on the visual and emotional language to sell your properties. Looking back on my shout outs here, some of you in the ultra luxury, the boutique hotels that are here today. You want to have language befitting of the experiences that you're selling. Recommend, suggest, endorse when it comes down to which room categories, what meeting space locations, if you have multiple spaces, what transportation to set up. If you're a mid-scale hotel, what off-premise activities, what local area restaurants to go to. Recommend, suggest, endorse. And then finally, quote rates, ask for the sale, close with confidence. Trust the pricing provided by your revenue manager. Don't apologize. Don't say, well, in check-in availability, the only rates I can offer you. Don't say the rates went up because it's busy. The rates I'm about to quote are a little high because it's a holiday or an event. No, don't even mention that. If they say, why are the rates higher than I expected? Oh, these are the normal rates. In busy season, we charge normal rates. We do offer lower rates when it's slower. Don't mention the rates are higher or you tried to get a lower rate. Why am I saying this? Because some people actually say that in conversation. You're on the hotel side, okay? Remember, they have a need. They're going to buy from someone. Their revenue manager is getting the same data as your revenue manager. So they're probably coming in around the same rate. Okay, and even if they're not, maybe you're the rate leader in your market, like some of you on the list here today. Remember, you're worth it. You're the best. People have to pay a little bit extra to get the premium, but they're still gonna object to the price. Now, always ask to secure the sale, ideally in a webcam, and I do this myself at the end. Mr. Prospect, Ms. Prospect, I just wanted to thank you for your time today. Let us know what we can do on our end. We would love to have a chance to provide your training. What can I do to secure you as our latest Kennedy Training Network client? It works. It works. Be humble and grateful. Have that personal commitment. Hey, now I will do this one too. Create some urgency. Well, I'm sure you've got a few other great proposals in your inbox, but we'd be grateful to be selected. And you have my personal commitment to making this a great event, to great meeting, to host your corporate travelers on a routine basis. So can we lock you in this opportunity while it's still available? Okay. Create that urgency. Now, hopefully they're going to say yes. Okay, you got me. Let me sign now. Probably not, but be tenacious and personalized in your follow-up. This is a statement I believe to be very true. People want to give their business to people who want their business. How do we demonstrate that? By follow-up that is persistent but personalized. So at least 4. It's really 3, because your first one is responding after their RFP, and that's basically sending the proposal that's sent right after you speak with them, or at least they don't call you back, they don't take you up on the Calendly link, you send them a proposal, okay? So that's the first one. Now, about 3 days later, depending on their timeline and how far out the event is, let's say about 3 business days later, you're gonna follow up again. And a few days to 1 week after that, again, depending on timelines, follow up again, and then a final reach out. And if they've ghosted you, and your final reach out might be, well, we just wanted to thank you. I haven't heard back from you, so I'm guessing you might have moved in another direction. But if there's anything else we can do to win the opportunity, let us know. In the meantime, we wish you well for your event, and we hope you'll think of us next time. Sometimes they reply back, hey, you know what? I'm going with you. Sometimes they say, hey, we picked someone else, but it ain't over till it's over. Maybe they haven't signed yet, or maybe it's a recurring event, or maybe they'll have other events. Now, how do we follow up tenaciously in a way that's personalized and persistent, but not pushy? Don't just call 4 days in a row. Don't just email 4 days in a row. Do not throw guilt. Since I haven't heard back from you, Mr. Kennedy, on my other 3 emails, I'm emailing one more time because I went to this class and it said to call, maybe send a text. Now, personally, I like to do business through email because that's how I store all of my records in my CRM. But, you know, a lot of prospects do like to text. A handwritten note, that's very old school. Let me tell you, how rare is it? It's worth I don't know, what is it now, 50 cents for a forever stamp? I don't know what it costs in Canada, Mexico, and the rest of the world, but if you can afford it, and if you have a big enough piece of business, send a handwritten note, especially if they have come for an on-site site inspection, by the way. A video email. Now, if you have a very short video email, you can send it by text to them, but you can also use Vidyard. Vidyard will allow you up to 10 free videos you can store at a time, and you can actually send a camera phone video, and when they open it in their email, they'll see your smiling face talking directly to them. This is a huge selling tool that is so underutilized in today's world. We love using it at KTN. It's a big part of our sales training. Try it if you haven't. You will see the results are quite amazing. And then, so again, you could send a short video, but only by text. You can't, even a very short video is going to be too large to send as an attachment, but you can text it over. So these are all ways which then we can follow up. Now, in summary then, the reality today is very often we're selling to remote buyers. We would love for them to come by and meet with us in person, but either because they don't perceive the need to, because they've already seen those lovely pictures, or because they're booking at the last minute and it's a short term, or because they're a buyer far away, a third-party buyer, they're just never going to come by. So we could do the same things that everyone else does and get the results that everyone else gets. We can respond promptly with a generic PDF or e-proposal, or we could simply put load the rates back and the online booking platform, or we could stand out, call, probably you'll just get voicemail, but leave a really great voicemail following up to see what we can do on our end. We had a few questions to help us send a more detailed proposal. Follow that up with your email, with your Calendly or Book With Me link. Get them to talk to you. Include the virtual meeting, come online, be on webcam. Do you want to join me on webcam? If not, that's fine. But at least you can see my smile, and at least you're going to see my lovely presentation. And then walk them through the presentation. Follow up tenaciously in a way that's personalized but persistent, and always ask for the sale. Well, thank you again to our sponsors, Track, a TravelNet solution, and Travel Outlook, the premier hotel call center. They are sponsoring us. Also in December, we'll be looking at our next presentation, the value pyramid sales model to sell the overall experience. Don't be a room renter. And then in January, I'm super excited to debut our brand new hospitality class, simply called Hospitality Is. I spent most of this summer, I spent a lot of time this summer. Well, it's not the only thing I did all summer, but I did spend a lot of time developing the content of Hospitality Is after researching it for about the past year, pulling together. It has been launched in November. We're going to give you highlights in January. And then we have also exciting February program that's listed at our website. So if you want to find us on Spotify or YouTube, as mentioned, we would love to also talk to you about our on-site training, our private live webcam coaching, such as what Kathy Cook does for those of you who really want to be the best at remote selling and remote presentations, conference speaking, such as what I did this week, mystery shopping, call scoring, also of voice calls and email exchanges. Thank you again for joining us, everyone, in this month's KTN webcast. We hope to see you and your colleagues. Please pass the word on. You do need to sign up for each of them individually. Thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.